Hey guys, welcome back to Claire Minded. My name is Claire and this is Ayurveda for Pitta. This is all about Pitta season and how to reduce Pitta from the head. I'm so stoked. In this video, what I'm going to go over, I'm going to give you a brief explanation of the Pitta dosha, the elements and the qualities, why they're relevant in today's video. Then we're going to dive into Pitta season. What is it? What does it mean? What are the qualities to it? What does it look like? Why is it relevant right now? I'm going to take you in deeper and explain all those things and more. And then we're just going to wrap up. I'm going to give you a couple key tips to do during Pitta season to help reduce Pitta from the head. So to start, what is Pitta dosha? A quick recap of what the Pitta dosha is. The Pitta dosha is one of three Ayurvedic doshas. We have Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, and today we're focusing on Pitta. And Pitta is made up of the elements fire and water. So these elements together make the Pitta dosha more hot, oily, flowing, light, sharp, intense. And when a person is carrying Pitta qualities, they are seen more as leaders, goal-oriented, super focused, hyper-focused almost, passionate, loving, just very intense type of people. But on the opposite end, when it's imbalanced, Pitta people or just Pitta dosha, whenever it comes out in anyone, can be seen as judgment, criticism, intensity, just like too much anger and fury, or it could be burning indigestion, acid reflux, acne, anything that is burning or inflamed that is going to be seen as a Pitta imbalance. So just very simply, Pitta is just one of the three Ayurvedic doshas. It's important to know that the elements are fire and water, and I'm going to tell you why as we move into Pitta season. So Pitta season is basically the time of year that Pitta dosha is more prominent. So in Ayurveda, we have times of day and times of the year that are associated with a specific dosha. So the summertime is associated with the Pitta dosha. The summertime, think of it, it's hotter. It's more, in the northern hemisphere, it's warmer. We have more time outside, like a lot more energy, more passion and fire. We're just kind of like really hyped up because it's just so nice out. But just like the Pitta dosha, if we have too much of this fire-like quality, it can turn and backfire. So the summertime is Pitta season, and this is just naturally the time of year that the Pitta dosha is more prominent. Pitta energy is just naturally more prominent around us. So as it gets hotter and the summertime starts to really ramp up, this means that Pitta symptoms and conditions can also start to flare up. So Pitta symptoms and conditions are like inflammation, acne, red rashes, hyperacidity, diarrhea. These things are all kind of Pitta symptoms that are a lot more likely to happen during the summertime just because of that natural Pitta fire and energy that we have this time of year. From an emotional standpoint, during the summertime, you may also experience Pitta imbalances of the mind and mental and emotional state. So you might get irritable more quickly. You might you take up arguments with friends a lot quicker than you normally would have maybe in the winter time, which is more reserved, quiet time for the system. You might start to judge people a little bit more. Like summertime, everyone's walking around in skimpier clothes. Does judgment pop up a little more often? Something to take note of. Like, am I criticizing myself more because of how I look? Like, is the ego at play here? These are all emotional and mental symptoms of increase of Pitta dosha. Pitta season is just essentially the time of year that the Pitta dosha is naturally more prominent. So that means that we have to pay extra special attention to maintain, balance, or decrease Pitta dosha in all of us because we just naturally all have that extra spike. So we want to work on maintaining or reducing when it's necessary. So to reduce, maintain, or eliminate excess Pitta, we want to focus on Pitta dosha balancing practices. And these are things that are going to bring in the opposing elements of fire and water. So we want to bring in more air, we want to bring in more earth, more ether. We want to cool the Pitta dosha off. The number one quality for Pitta is hot. It's hot, it has the fire, so you want to cool it off. Summertime, you have the sun, the heat, it's hot. You want to cool it off. You want to go for a swim, you want to go for bicycling, you want to do some non-competitive sports. Practice yin yoga. Focus on the sweet, the bitter, and the astringent taste. These are all balancing foods for the Pitta dosha. Sweet taste is earth and water. Bitter taste is air and ether, and astringent taste is air and earth. So these are things like the sweet taste, you have ripe fruit, you have rice, quinoa, avocados, almonds, cashews, and then you have the bitter taste, and these are going to be dark leafy greens, and these are so good for Pitta dosha because they cleanse the blood, which we want to do if we have any spikes of Pitta. So you want dark leafy greens, bitter vegetables, bitter melons, and then the astringent taste, which is more legumes, something that brings more air into your system. So make sure you soak your legumes overnight because those are going to help aid digestion, and always add digestive spices. Other things, drinking digestive teas. So CCF, that's one of my favorite Pitta dosha balancing teas. It's cumin, coriander, and fennel seed all just mixed in together, 1:1:1 ratio, and then add a tablespoon into your tea, let it soak, drink it at room temperature. Something else is super important during Pitta. So I know we want to cool the body off, but you also don't want to be drinking cold water. In Ayurveda, we don't recommend really ever drinking cold water because it kills the agni, our digestive fire, our metabolism. It dampens that fire. If you're thinking of it like a campfire, we have this beautiful campfire that's lit and stoked and it's moving, and when you drink cold water, it immediately pushes that beautiful fire down to just like simmering coals. And then if you try to eat anything pretty much after that, it's not going to be digested as efficiently as if you were eating it on top of that beautiful fire that was flowing and moving and stimulated. So cold water dampens our agni, our digestive fire, making it harder for our body to absorb and digest food and drinks more naturally as they should. So for Pitta dosha, it's important to drink at room temperature. Pittas also don't want to be drinking too hot of water, like boiling water, because that is only going to increase the heat more. So ideally, you want to be drinking at room temperature. If it's an extraordinary hot day and you want to have a fresh lemonade, don't beat yourself up about it, but just be conscious of it. Try and wear light, breathable clothing in the summertime too, this Pitta season. We want to reduce any tightness or constriction of any like really tight clothing. So you want to be wearing breathable clothing, and this is just going to help it not to be too constricting on your skin, which helps retain heat. We want to be cooling the body off, so we want flowing clothes around, something nice and loose. Oh, and wear, or if not, try and surround yourself with expansive cooling colors, white, blue, purple. These are all going to help cool off that Pitta dosha in the Pitta season, either wearing it or go sitting by a body of water. That's super relaxing for Pitta dosha to help lower it down. Try to avoid any hot tubs or steams or saunas because these, like I said, increase the heat, and we don't want to be doing that, especially during Pitta season when we naturally have extra Pitta energy around us. So we don't want to be increasing that naturally high Pitta already. So we want to stay away from any hot tubs, saunas, steam rooms. Those are just too aggravating for the Pitta dosha during the summertime, that Pitta season. I definitely also encourage you to start thinking more positively, especially during the summer season when we have a more tendency for Pitta mental and emotional thoughts of criticism or judgment. We want to bring in that positive thinking, so we just relax our body. We're more supple to deal with any type of tension or turbulence and just kind of release that stress and just think more positively, have a good positive outlook, send positive vibes and love other people's way, and I promise you it'll come back to you tenfold. Focus on routine. Routine is super important, and emphasize resting, especially during Pitta season, this Pitta time of extra Pitta energy. You want to relax the body, you want to cool it off, you want to reduce that intensity. So rest, take a nap in the afternoon, like grab a book, snooze off if that's okay. Like don't try and be too intense and do too many things at once because your Pitta is going to spike. It's going to spiral out of control. You want to relax, take a book, go sit by the pool, go for a walk by yourself in nature, go barefoot even. This is going to help just relax and rest the body. And then my favorite thing to help reduce any excess Pitta is embrace the inner child. This is so important. Sometimes Pitta, when it comes into excess, it can be too sharp focused, it can be too intense, it could be just too wound up in a way. So we want to embrace that inner child. We want to play, we want to run around, we want to splash the water, we would just want to dance crazy, we want to do all these things that kids just do naturally and bring in that energy just to, come back to this childlike state, relax. Life is not too serious, Pittas. Chill. Okay, so this video was all about Pitta season. I gave you a quick run through of the Pitta dosha. It's made up of fire and water. Pitta season, what is that? It's summertime. It's the time of the year where the Pitta dosha is more prominent. And then I gave you tons of Ayurvedic practices to help reduce or just maintain a proper Pitta balancing state. Because in the summertime, we have a tendency to increase that Pitta energy just because it's that natural time of year. So these practices that I gave you are going to help reduce the excess Pitta energy that we have naturally around us. It'll bring you back to taking naps, resting, eating cooling foods, and practicing cooling practices, and letting your inner child run loose, play, have fun. This is the time of year to not take things too seriously and just enjoy who and with you are. I love you guys so much. If you have any questions about the Pitta season or the Pitta dosha, drop them in the comments below. Hit the subscribe button, the like if you haven't already. Check out some of my other videos and let me know if you want to see anything else. I'm here for you guys. I love sharing this content. I appreciate you all so much. I hope you have the best summer Pitta season ever.